Hello and welcome back to Start to Finish TV. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Today we're going to be taking a look at how different lighting modifiers affect your light. So I used a long strip softbox with and without a honeycomb grid. I also used an octagon softbox, and I also used a 5-in-1 reflector with just the middle diffusion bit. I also did it without any modifiers, so we can take a look at all of them to see which one we like best. This first shot on the screen is with the strip softbox with the honeycomb grid, which is the same light as what I'm using right now. As you can see, my face is well illuminated. It's still illuminated, but as you can see, it's nowhere near. This is like one of the darkest ones there is, or this is like the most controlled one, as it's a single strip, and with the honeycomb grid, it allows the light to be concentrated in one specific area, which is my face. So if we move to the next shot, this is without the honeycomb grid. As you can see, the background has a lot more white light on it from the UL150. So if we take a look at this shot, you can see there is, but the light on my face has remained the same, but the light in the background has definitely increased. You can see more of the light on the back walls and the side wall. The shadow of the C-stand is much more prominent. Compare the two, you can definitely see that the background lights appear to be, it allows the blue from the desk to be more prominent. Then we move to the next one. This is without any modifications. As you can see, the shadows are very harsh and they look horrendous, and the background is completely white. You can see even with the shadows around the C-stand, they are so much sharper than the shadows that would normally be there with any sort of softbox. I also tried turning the light around and bouncing it on the ceiling, which would have given me a bit more of a softer light because I've got white walls. However, it would have needed more light. I left the light consistently at 30% running on V-mount batteries. There is no negligible difference between running it from the wall than running it on a battery. However, obviously you're limited by how bright you can go, because if you put it at 100%, it's going to die a lot quicker. So this is with it facing the other way. It's still lighting up my face, and it's doing not a very good job. This is it pointing at the ceiling. It's less harsh, but it's not a very nice look, in my personal opinion. This one is with the octagon softbox. It's a very similar look to the one with the strip box without the honeycomb grid. However, there's much more light in the shot, which is fine depending on the aesthetic that you're going for. I personally like less light in my shot, which you might think, well, you've got all that. Anyway, not the point. But it's a nice light, it does the job, and it's also a lot nicer in my glasses. You might have noticed you can definitely see it. So if we zoom in, oh, that's not nice. You don't want to look at that. The light, it's much less noticeable because it's a rounder shape. Obviously, it's not round. If you had one of like the aperture softboxes with a round light dome, it'd be very pleasing. However, because obviously it's an octagon, you can still see the lines. Whereas if we go to the first one, you can see the honeycomb grid, the light, and it looks unnatural. And this final shot is with the diffusion layer within the 5-in-1 reflector. As you can see, the shadows are a lot harsher, obviously I was just holding it. If you brought it closer to your subject like you would get a softer source, but with it being a thin piece of diffusion plus the light escaping all around it, you get a lot more light in your scene, and it's also not as effective as using a softbox. So in my personal opinion, I prefer, so out of the bunch, my favourite light modifier is the strip box with the honeycomb grid. So what I've done is I basically increased the exposure within the raw settings of the Canon C200 file, and that's basically given me, so now this looks much closer to the light with, well, this is now matching with the first shot with the strip softbox with the honeycomb grid. Obviously the reflections in my glasses are a lot nicer, and the main problem with the octagon softbox is that because it's multiple different pieces, if you can see, there's a gap behind the plate and the fabric. And if you look above my hair, you can see where that light is escaping. There's like a ring. Obviously that's that generic newer softbox, but overall I prefer the look of the strip box as it's more controlled on me, the subject. Now I'll leave links to the softboxes that I've got down in the description. They're both rapid ones, so they're like umbrella-y ones. I'd never get one where you had to build it because that's a pain in the bum. But overall, they're pretty good quality. So hopefully this has informed you as to what the differences are between the different style of softboxes. Obviously there's plenty more, definitely more high quality ones. These are basically the cheapest of the cheap, but they do the job for what I need and I like the look of them. So if you did enjoy this video, be sure to let me know by leaving a like on it. If you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe. So yes, I've been Ben with Start to Finish TV, and I will see you in the next video.